If agriculture goes wrong, nothing else will have a chance to go right. Micronutrient deficiency in the soil results in micronutrient malnutrition in people, since crops grown on such soils tend to be deficient in the nutrients needed to fight hidden hunger. Agriculture can trigger job-led economic growth provided it becomes intellectually satisfying and economically rewarding. Where there is a challenge, there has to be a response. Agriculture involves crop husbandry, animal husbandry, forestry, and fisheries. Your income will go up only if you look at the system, and not from one crop alone. I have frequently pointed out that the future belongs to nations with grains and not guns. Waiver of farm loans is not an ideal solution. To ensure that the situation is not repeated, the government should focus on creating a robust system to extend the necessary ingredients of farming such as water harvesting systems, seed and fertilizer supplements. One of India's major blessings is the rich store of experience and knowledge available in the rural and tribal areas. Agriculture is the backbone of the livelihood security system of nearly 700 million people in the country, and we need to build our food security on the foundation of homegrown food. Most pesticides lose their efficacy after a few years, because of pest resistance to pesticides. This is why companies go on changing the varieties. Denying a child even at birth an opportunity for the full expression of its innate genetic potential for physical and mental development is the cruelest form of inequity. To sum up, agriculture has made important progress, and our farmers have now shown that they are second to none in terms of improving production and productivity. Technology can advance yield and productivity, but only public policy can advance the income of farmers. There has to be a synergy between technology and public policy. The smaller the farm, the greater is the need for marketable surplus, so that the family will have cash income to meet their needs. 2010 is the International Year of Biodiversity. We can classify our crops into those which are climate resilient and those which are climate sensitive. For example, wheat is a climate sensitive crop, while rice shows a wide range of adaptation in terms of growing conditions. A life cycle approach to food security will imply attention to the nutritional needs of a human being from conception to cremation. The most vulnerable but neglected segment is the first 1,000 days in a child's life, the period from conception to the age of 2, when much of the brain development takes place. The government only gives subsidies for nitrogenous fertilizers. With the result, farmers do not apply balanced fertilizers. After the Green Revolution, I came up with the concept of the Evergreen Revolution. In this we will see increase in farm productivity but without ecological harm. Land tenure is key to protecting land rights. The central and state governments should have accessible systems for registering, tracking, and protecting land rights, including customary rights and common property resources. You can classify farmers into two major groups. One who saves seeds for the next crop and the other who purchases seeds from the market. Most of the commercial farmers, like the US farmers, are people who purchase seeds. The Green Revolution was criticized by social activists on the ground that the high-yield technology involving the use of mineral fertilizers and chemical pesticides is environmentally harmful. Looking ahead, the bright spot in Indian agriculture is the availability of a large untapped production reservoir. Training of farmers in integrated pest management is exceedingly important to protect them during the use of pesticides. Contract farming can be promoted if it is structured on the basis of a win-win situation both for the producer and the purchaser. My own motivation has come from the fact that all the indicators in the world, the hunger index or whatever index you say, shows a high prevalence of malnutrition. In the current scenario of climate change, predictions of extreme weather events are becoming difficult. The goal of my university education was to get into a medical college and equip myself to run a hospital in Kumbakonam left behind by my father, M.K. Sambasivan, who died at a young age in 1936. In any case, if I grow hybrid maize or hybrid pearl millet or any hybrid, I have to sow fresh seed every year. I cannot keep the seed of the same plant. If I keep the seed of the same plant, yield will be much less and there will be a wide variation in the field, like maturity period, quality, and so on. A number of non-banking finance companies have entered the rural microcredit market. Many microcredit agencies have been charging interest rates not very dissimilar to those charged by moneylenders. Borrowing then becomes more to meet pressing consumption needs, rather than for farming or small-scale enterprises. The loss of land for food security has to be measured not only in quantitative terms but also in respect of land use. Rain harvesting should be made mandatory and should be made more systematic to ensure that every drop of rain is preserved. Hybrids have become an important method for improving productivity or yield in many crops, including the self-pollinated crop like rice. Farming is the riskiest profession in the world since the fate of the crop is closely linked to the behavior of the monsoon. When politicians talk of loan waiver, they are accepting that agriculture is not economically viable. They are giving a wrong signal that farming is not economically viable. It's true, that's where the loan waiver comes in. The Raincom Solar Energy Center functioning in Chennai is a source of credible public information on rainwater harvesting and solar energy use. Such centers need to be replicated in all our cities, towns, and block headquarters. Aberrations in monsoon behavior are not uncommon, having been with us throughout our agricultural history. On the occasion of the 70th anniversary of the Bengal famine, Parliament is likely to pass the National Food Security Bill, which will be the world's largest social protection measure against hunger. Without the wholehearted involvement of farmers, particularly of young as well as women farmers, it will be impossible to implement a Food Entitlements Act in an era of increasing price volatility in the international market. Famines were frequent in colonial India, and some estimates indicate that 30 to 40 million died out of starvation in Tamil Nadu, Bihar, and Bengal during the later half of the 19th century. All kinds of excuses have been given by governments for not implementing this recommendation, like food price inflation. But the question is, do the farmers of this country, who constitute nearly half of the working population, also not need to eat? Wireless technology has completely revolutionized information transmission and exchange in India. If you go in the coastal areas, small-scale fishermen who go out in small boats, they now carry a cell phone, which has GPS data on wave heights, where the fish are, etc. Leadership is something which other people have to recognize. You cannot demand that I am a leader. The air pollution in Delhi has become a matter of public health concern nationally and internationally. The future of food security will depend on a combination of the ecological prudence of the past and the technological advances of today. Organic farming and other earlier methods can be effective, provided they can help us improve soil health and plant health. Plant pesticides like neem and tobacco need to be promoted. In India, unlike in the United States and Australia, agriculture is not just a food-producing enterprise but also the backbone of the livelihood security of nearly 60% of the population. Green revolution technologies are scale-neutral but not resource-neutral. Inputs are needed for output. Therefore, market-purchased inputs become important in providing soil and plant healthcare for higher yields. In spite of the dominant role played by women in both farming, they are denied credit as they lack land titles. Only a small percentage of Kisan credit cards goes to them. There are two major challenges before Indian agriculture today: ecological and economical. The conservation of our basic agricultural assets such as land, water, and biodiversity is a major challenge. How to make agriculture sustainable is the challenge. We have to devise ways to lower the cost of production and reduce the risks involved in agriculture, such as pests, pathogens, and weeds. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.